第18集，停不下来的能量武士。
Mung Mung, are you hungry for that apple?
不是的，克里斯博士，我是在观察苹果掉下来，就像牛顿先生一样。
That's great, Mung Mung. So, are you ready to hear Newton's 3 laws of motion then?
啊，没错，克里斯博士，你快告诉我吧。
Okay, Mung Mung, but first, let me show you something. Here, hop on this train with me.
我们这是要去哪儿啊，克里斯博士？
We're not going anywhere, Mung Mung. I want to show you something. Here, I'm going to make the train stop. Did you see it?
看到什么？
Did you notice that our bodies kept moving after the train had stopped?
啊，对啊，我坐在爸爸车上的时候也会这样。如果爸爸突然刹车，我的身体也会向前冲。所以每次坐车，妈妈都让我一定要系上安全带。
Exactly, Mung Mung. Kids, it is very important to wear your seatbelt while riding in a car. But this is an interesting phenomenon, isn't it? Have you ever considered the reason why it is so hard to stop once we've started moving?
啊，是啊，为什么车停了，我还在运动呢？
Kids, do you still remember our knowledge of force and motion? Our bodies have kinetic energy when the car is moving forward.
我们运动就是因为有了动能武士。
But we are still moving when the car has stopped. What does it mean?
哦，我明白了，这说明动能武士还藏在我们身体里，没有离开，是吗？
Yes. Dr. Griss said energy needs force to transform. That is to say, the energy warriors need a force bridge to cross so that they may change form. Without a bridge, the energy warriors stay.
现在我明白了，也就是说，在我的能量武士找到桥之前，我都是持续运动着的。
Right. The energy warriors remain inside of our bodies. Because there is no bridge for them to cross, they will stay inside of our bodies when the car stopped. This is the reason why our bodies keep moving forward.
原来在我坐车的时候，是调皮的动能武士差点让我摔跤呀。但是克里斯博士，我怎样才能找到力量桥，把我体内的动能武士释放出去呢？
Great question, Mung Mung. I see you have gotten to the mystery of Newton's laws already. Here, come with Dr. Chris and I'll solve this mystery for you now. Hello, children. Did you see Mung Mung and I on the train? Have you ever experienced this phenomenon? Have you ever started running, riding a bike, or were you on a skateboard and were worried that you would not be able to slow down?
停！哎呀！
Mung Mung, are you okay?
哦，我还好，克里斯博士。我想吃桉树叶，想得太激动了，都停不下来了。
Mung Mung, the reason that you couldn't stop is because you had a lot of kinetic energy and nowhere for it to go.
克里斯博士，我现在停下来了，我的动能呢？我觉得动能都跑到树上去了。
Indeed it did, Mung Mung. The tree gave you an opposite force. This is the force bridge. Crossing this bridge allowed your kinetic energy warriors to transform into sound, heat, and even movement of the tree.
你的意思是，我撞到树上，这给了我体内的动能武士一个桥，让他们离开了我。
Yes, Mung Mung.
哦， 那克里斯博士，也就是说，想让我停下来，就得先拦住动能武士。
Yes, Meng Meng. Kinetic energy warriors must be in motion. When a kinetic energy warrior enters an object, it can keep moving. As we know, if we want the kinetic energy warriors to leave the object, we need a bridge to help us. It's important that this force bridge is strong enough so that all the kinetic energy warriors may leave.
啊，要多结实才行啊！
Things that move want to keep moving. The energy warriors need a bridge, as we know. But let me ask you this, Meng Meng. What would happen if I ran into the eucalyptus tree?
如果是你，这个树就会被撞断了，因为你比我大太多了。
Haha, that's right, Meng Meng. The bigger something is, the more movement energy it has when it is in motion, the more energy warriors it has, and the bigger the force bridge is needed to make it stop.
所以要让你停下来，我们需要一座更大的桥，才能让你的能量武士穿过，对吧，克里斯博士？
Correct. Remember that force is the bridge for the energy warriors. Do you now understand why Mom asked you to put your seatbelt on? It is because the seatbelt installed in the car can hold you, so that it may give you an opposite force when your body is trying to rush forward. It is the force bridge that releases the energy warriors. Oh, by the way, Meng Meng, do you still remember what happens when there are two forces in the opposite direction?
两个力量相反时，会相互抵消。
Correct. So Meng Meng, let's keep recalling some of the knowledge from our last lecture. Let's say that after all the cancellation, there's still a force left over. What do we call that kind of force?
对，上节课你说过，相反方向的力可以相互抵消，抵消之后剩下来的力就是合力。
Yes, the net force is also a kind of force. It gives the true bridge for the energy warriors to cross, which allows the object to continue to move along its direction. Let's see how it works out for the seatbelt. If you didn't have a seatbelt on during an accident, there would be no net force to stop you, and you would fly out of the car.
哇，合力真的好重要呀！
Yes. Kids, after learning Newton's laws, you'll be able to understand these principles. Now come, follow Dr. Chris, and let's continue to unravel the mystery of Newton's laws. Kids, just now we talked about how the net force can build up a bridge to release the energy warriors. On the other hand, if there were no net force, then the energy warriors would stay, and the object would keep moving.
上节课你在说箱子的时候，不是说没有合力，箱子就静止不动吗？那现在怎么又说没有合力，物体会继续运动了呢？
Meng Meng, it is so clever of you to remember what we talked about in the last lecture. Indeed, the box stayed still because the forces canceled out, so there was no net force. But actually, when something's moving, there is still no net force.
为什么呀？说的我又晕了。
Don't worry, Meng Meng. Let's review the game task I left you with last time. Remember last time, children? I asked you to report your findings while observing the soccer ball. One time, the ball was still, and I asked you to draw the force arrows on the ball. So, a still ball has two forces, gravity pulling down and the ground pushing up. These forces cancel, so at this moment, the ball won't change its motion. Right?
是啊，因为球上的力相互抵消了，没有合力了，球就会保持原来的样子，一直静止不动。
That's right. But how about the moving ball? We need a force to start the ball rolling. But here, let's have a look. Once the ball starts rolling, there is nothing pushing it forward or backward. We still have gravity pulling down and the ground pushing up. but gravity and the ground cancel each other out.
有意思，也就是说，现在球上也是没有合力的。
Yes, and because there is no net force, the ball will keep rolling as it was in the first place. Isn't this the same as the stillness we mentioned earlier?
所以说，是因为没有合力桥释放球里的能量武士，所以球会一直在滚动吗？
Yes, Meng Meng. In both the movement and stillness cases, there is no net force on the ball, and in neither case, the ball changes its motion. Things won't change their motion unless there's a net force. This is, in fact, Newton's first law.
哇，真的吗？我觉得我有点明白了。
I'm so glad. Let's test this knowledge with a game.
亲子游戏。
Hi everyone. We just learned that Newton's first law says that things that are in motion or still will stay that way unless there is a net force. But it certainly doesn't seem that way in our everyday experience, does it? Try this at home. Take a ball like this one and give it a little kick. It slows down and stops. But that's odd, isn't it? Shouldn't it keep moving? At home with Mom and Dad, think about some other things that stop moving. Why do you think that is? Are we breaking Newton's first law of physics? Oh, we're out of time and so many questions. Next time, I'll answer them all. Goodbye, everyone.